In this video, we will be discussing some tips and tricks for working more efficiently with Gmail. Whether you're a busy professional or a student, these tips will help you organize your inbox, compose messages more quickly, and find the information you need. We will cover the use of keyboard shortcuts, filters and labels, and the important and unread labels. By the end of this video, you will have a better understanding of how to use Gmail to its full potential, saving you time and increasing your productivity. So sit back, relax, and let's get started. Once you've logged into Gmail through a web browser, let's go ahead and start looking at use of keyboard shortcuts. Gmail has a variety of keyboard shortcuts that can help you navigate your inbox and compose messages more quickly. For example, you can use the letter G on the keyboard, then the letter I to go to your inbox, the letter C to compose a new message, and the letter E to archive a message. So first, if you've noticed that you've selected the Gmail window and none of those shortcut keys work for you, that can be a bit frustrating, but rest assured, we can easily resolve this by turning on keyboard shortcuts for our Gmail. I'm on a Mac, but if you're on a PC, just know that you can use Control wherever Command is used on the Mac. You will need to follow these steps though. So after we are logged into our Gmail account in a web browser, click on the gear icon in the top right corner of the screen and select Settings, and then See All Settings in the drop-down menu, and then select the General tab. Now you can scroll down, and this is a long list, but I prefer to use Command F to find something on the page. So I can type in shortcut and it takes me down to the area where keyboard shortcuts are. You can see that my shortcuts are off. I'm going to select the radio button to turn them on and then scroll all the way to the bottom to save my changes. After that, you should be able to use your keyboard shortcuts while using Gmail on your Mac or on your PC. So to see a list of all the available shortcuts, you can press Shift and then the question mark while in the Gmail interface. But note that this will only work on the web version of Gmail and not in the native Mac app. We can start by selecting GI to go to our inbox, but we are already in the inbox. So if I select to go to the important and then press the letter G and I, you can see that it takes me right back to the inbox. Now if you want to compose an email quickly, just select the C key and you can see the composition for a new message window appears. Then finally, if you would like to archive an email, simply select the email and then press the letter E to archive that email, and we can see we get a notification message at the bottom saying that the conversation was archived. So what happens when we archive mail? Does it just go into some black box or abyss that we can never find our mail again? Well, rest assured, it's really easy to find our archived emails. You have two ways of doing it. You can select the All Mail label or use the search function at the top of the page. In the left-hand pane, if you scroll down to More and select More, you can select All Mail and you will see any archived email here. Also, you can go up to the search feature and the search feature is already set to search all mail, including archived. So if you know a word or a phrase that was in the title of the mail, or words or phrases within the text of the actual email, you can type that here and it will pull up that email. So we archived a email from Grant Cardone, and then there you can see the email displays at the top of the list of all mail, and then you will also notice that the archive icon is shadowed out, showing that this email was in fact archived. Next, using filters and labels in Gmail can help you organize your inbox and quickly find the messages that you need. Here are a few examples of how you can use filters and labels. Let's start by filtering by a sender. So you can set up filters to automatically label and archive messages from a specific sender, such as a mailing list or a newsletter like I received from Grant Cardone. So as an example, you can create a filter that looks for messages from the email info@grantcardone.com and apply the label newsletters to these and then archive them automatically if you want. So let's start by going to the left-hand pane and scrolling down, and you can select more if this was collapsed, and you can create a new label by selecting create new label, and we can call this newsletter and then select create, and you can see that the label newsletter was created with a notification. And then we should see our newsletter if we scroll down, and you can see there is our newsletter label. If you select it, there should be nothing in there because we just created it. We can go back to the email that we want to include in our newsletter, which was under all mail because it was archived. And then I can go into the email, and once in this email, if you see at the top here, there is the 3 dots and it's for more. So this gives you additional options, and we can create a filter by selecting filter messages like these. And in here, you can see that we can create a filter based off of certain information in the email, whether it's simply the email that it was from or emails that are sent to someone, the subject. So there's a lot of options here. So in our case, we're just going to create a filter based off of the email that we're receiving from. So we can select create the filter. And then we have a list of options here to choose from, but all we need is apply the label and then select our newsletter label in the list. And down at the bottom of this list, as you can see, we can create the filter. So select create filter. And then from now on, as we receive email from info@grantcardone.com, it will automatically go into our newsletter. We can go back to our inbox by selecting the letter G and I. And we have several options for creating filters and labels. There's actually quite a few. Let me resituate my screen here for you. We have the option to filter by subject, filter by keywords or attachments, by size, by date. So let's go ahead and create one more just so you can get an idea. I have an email from Acorns. So maybe I want to save this in a label called investments. I can type in the name of my new label, and we can see the label was created. And then I will go into this email, and then I can select the 3 dots, which will give me more options for email. And then I can go ahead and filter messages like these. And now I could look for words like investment, acorn, etc., or words like bonus or money. And then I could create a filter for each one of these and actually remove the specific email. And so now this filter is going to filter any email with investment, acorn, bonus, or money in the body or the title of the email. If I select create filter and then apply the label and then choose the label, now I can go down to investments. We can select create filter, and from now on, based off of words that are in the email, these will automatically pass our inbox and go into our investments label. Now let's go back to our inbox by selecting the letter G and I. And finally, let's take a look at the important, unread, and starred labels that can help you really increase your efficiency in Gmail. So you can quickly identify the most important messages in your inbox and ensure that you don't miss anything important. Here's how you can use these labels. So the important label, for instance. Gmail uses a variety of factors to determine which messages are important, so such as the sender, the content of the message, and your past interactions with the sender. Messages that are deemed important by Gmail will be automatically labeled as important. And these will appear at the top of your inbox. So you can also manually mark these messages as important by clicking on the important marker. So if I want to label any email from Namecheap as important, then I would hover over the arrow icon, which is the icon to label the email as important, and select this. I'm teaching Gmail, additionally to what it's already learned from my interactions, that this is an email from a sender with content that I want at the top of my inbox. I won't have an issue finding important emails because they will all hover towards the top of my inbox. The unread label is very helpful. This label is applied to any message that you haven't read yet automatically. You can use this label to quickly find new messages in your inbox. So once you open a message, it will automatically be removed from the unread label. So you can see the difference. My read emails are highlighted in blue. If you hover over the envelope icon, you can see you have the option to mark it as unread. So it's currently read, and if I select it again, it's now considered unread. So this is a great way to come back to emails as well. So maybe it's not necessarily important enough to be labeled important, but you realize that you do need to come back to it and maybe give it a read because you didn't currently have the time to do that. This is a good option. Also, we have the starred label. The label is applied to messages that you want to mark as important. So you can use this label to quickly find important messages in your inbox. So to start a message, you can click on the star icon next to the message, which is right over here. So this is not starred. So we now star it by selecting the star icon next to the message. And you can also use the keyboard shortcut S. You can also use the S shortcut when inside the email. So if I'm inside this email and I select S, when I back out of the email, you can see that it has been starred. So in this email, I could select S, and then you can see it's starred up here in the right corner. And when I back out, you can see it's also starred. You can also use these labels together. For example, you can mark an unread message as important by clicking on the importance marker and then starring it like we did. You can also create your own custom labels like we looked at earlier and apply them to messages, and you can use these labels to group similar messages together, which we already looked at. So you could create a label called work and apply it to all the work-related messages, and this way you can easily find them when you need them. I hope you learned something new and how to become more efficient using your Gmail. This video covered several tips and tricks for working more efficiently with Gmail. We discussed how to use keyboard shortcuts, filters, and labels to organize your inbox and quickly find the messages you need. We also covered how to use the important, unread, and starred labels in Gmail to identify and prioritize important messages. By implementing these tips, you will be able to save time and increase your productivity when using Gmail. So whether you're a busy professional or a student, these tips will help you stay organized and on top of your inbox. Take care, and I'll see you next time.